the world's fastest law of attraction technique. Test it out. You've probably heard about the law of attraction, right? It's that buzzword entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, and high achievers toss around to explain their almost unreal success. Maybe you've given it a shot, created a vision board, imagined yourself driving a sleek sports car, living in a sprawling mansion, or crushing it in life. You've pictured your wildest dreams, hoping the universe would magically make them real. But let's get honest for a second. Has it worked? Are you cruising in that dream car, lounging in that big house with a pool, living the life you've always wanted? If you're like most people, the answer's probably no. Your life hasn't changed much, has it? So, what's the deal? Does the law of attraction work for everyone except you? Here's the raw truth. The law of attraction, as it's usually taught, doesn't work. Not because it's fake, but because the version you've been fed is shallow, watered-down nonsense peddled by gurus trying to sell you their next course or miracle program. They make it sound like you just think positive thoughts and, poof, your life transforms overnight. That's not how it works, and deep down you know it. But don't give up yet, because in this video, I'm going to break down exactly why the law of attraction hasn't worked for you, what you're doing wrong, and the precise technique that changed my life and the lives of my successful friends. This is the same method that took me from a completely different reality, stuck in a cycle of struggle and self-doubt, to the life I live today. It's powerful, it's grounded in real psychology, and I'm giving you the step-by-step process to test it yourself. But here's the catch. You've got to watch this with an open mind all the way to the end and actually do what I'm about to tell you. If you think this sounds crazy or woo-woo, hold off on the comments until you've tried it. I'm giving you my word. This works, but only if you're ready to forget everything you thought you knew about the law of attraction. Let's start with why it hasn't worked for you. Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists in history, said our unconscious mind shapes our reality. It's like a hidden software running in the background of your brain, programmed by everything you've absorbed since childhood. Jung called this the collective unconscious, a deep reservoir of patterns, instincts, and beliefs that aren't even yours. They come from your parents, teachers, society, media, and even traumas. Think back. When you were a kid, how many times did you hear things like, "That's too expensive. We can't afford that. You don't deserve that." Or worse, "You're not good enough. You're lazy. You'll never make it." If you didn't grow up with a silver spoon, like I didn't, those words got etched into your brain. They formed what Jung called your shadow, the part of you loaded with self-doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs that silently sabotage your dreams. Your brain soaked it all up like a sponge, especially when you were young, thanks to something called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on what it learns. This wiring shapes how you see yourself, what you believe is possible, and even how you act without realizing it. Here's the harsh reality. Those beliefs became your story, but it's the wrong story. You grew up believing that the things you want, a big house, a nice car, financial freedom, are just pipe dreams, too far out of reach. Your shadow whispers that you don't deserve them or that you're not capable of getting them. Let me prove it to you. Imagine you're walking through a mall and pass a luxury store. Do you stop to admire the display? Do you stroll in confidently? Probably not. You might feel awkward, out of place, or think, "Why bother? I can't afford anything in there. I'd just embarrass myself." That's your shadow talking, reinforcing the story that you're not that kind of person. Or try this. If I told you right now that you should be living in a mansion with 3 cars in the garage, giving your parents the best life possible, does that feel real? Or does your brain scoff, "Yeah, right, that's impossible"? That's the shadow Jung warned about. It's the unconscious belief that you're not worthy, and it's exactly why the law of attraction hasn't worked for you. You can't attract what you don't believe you deserve. But here's the game changer. You can rewrite that story. Jung called this process individuation, becoming your truest self by confronting your shadow and reshaping your inner narrative. That's what I did, and it's what transformed my life. I went from struggling, doubting myself, and chasing empty promises to building the life I have now. I used to be stuck, trying every get-rich-quick scheme, feeling like nothing worked. But when I learned to work with my mind instead of against it, everything changed. It's not just me. Every successful friend I know has done some version of this. Let me give you a real-world example. You know Conor McGregor, the UFC fighter? He went from being a plumber to the first Irish fighter to win 2 UFC titles in different weight classes. He famously knocked out our Brazilian champ Jose Aldo in just 13 seconds. But here's the crazy part. Months before that fight, McGregor said exactly how it would go down in an interview. And it happened. He's done this multiple times, predicting his wins with unshakable confidence. How? Because he mastered a visualization, technique rooted in Jung's ideas, not the fluffy surface-level stuff you've been taught. So here's the technique, the fastest law of attraction hack you'll ever learn. I call it the theater visualization technique, and it's not about picturing the end goal like a mansion or $1 million. That's where most people mess up. Jung said that to transform your life, you need to align your conscious actions with your unconscious mind. If you only visualize the end scene of your dream life, it feels so far away that your shadow laughs it off as impossible. Instead, you need to visualize the process, like you're watching a play unfold on stage. When you go to a theater, you don't stare at the red curtain in the background. You focus on the actors, the action, the story unfolding. The curtain's like your vision board. It's nice, but it's not the main event. The main event is the process that gets you to your goal. Here's how it works, step by step. Identify the first layer. Think of your big goal like an onion with layers. The core is your ultimate dream, say, getting rich through a digital business. The first layer is the very first step you need to take, like studying, choosing a business model, or taking a small action. Don't visualize the $1 million yet. Focus on that first layer. Visualize the process, not the prize. Every day, spend a few minutes picturing yourself taking that first step with confidence. See yourself studying, making decisions, acting like the person who's already on the path to success. Jung said, this taps into the archetype of the hero, the part of your unconscious wired for courage, resilience, and action. Make it vivid. Feel the excitement, the focus, the progress. Picture the small wins, the moments of clarity, the feeling of moving forward. Face the shadow. When doubts creep in, and they will, don't fight them. Jung taught that fighting, your shadow makes it stronger. Instead, acknowledge it. Okay, I see you, but you're not in charge. Then shift back to visualizing the process. This rewires your brain to prioritize action over fear. Act and adjust. Visualization alone isn't enough. Take small actions toward that first layer every day. Each step leverages neuroplasticity to rewire your brain, weakening the shadow's grip. As you complete each layer, move to the next, visualizing the process for that one. Consistency is key. Small steps compound into massive results. This isn't about magic or overnight miracles. It's about rewiring your unconscious to believe you're capable and worthy. When I started doing this, I stopped chasing shiny objects and focused on the process, learning, creating, sharing. That's what got me out of my old reality and into the life I have now. I used to be stuck, frustrated, thinking I'd never make it. But when I embraced this technique, aligned my mind with my actions, and leaned into Jung's idea of individuation, everything shifted. The universe didn't just hand me success. I built it, layer by layer, by working with my mind instead of against it. It's not sexy to visualize the work, I get it. Everyone wants the shortcut, the ice without filling the tray. But there's no result without the process. Jung said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Your reaction to this technique will transform you, but only if you act. Let me share one more example to drive this home. Think about Oprah Winfrey. She grew up in poverty, faced countless obstacles, yet became one of the most influential people alive. How? She didn't just visualize fame and wealth. She focused on the process, honing her skills, building relationships, taking bold steps. She tapped into what Jung called the archetype of the creator, channeling her unconscious energy into action. That's the power of this technique. It's not about wishing, it's about becoming. So here's the challenge. Test this technique for 30 days. Visualize the process of your first layer every day, take action, and watch how the universe starts to align in your favor. Hit that subscribe button to stay locked in for more life-changing tips like this, and drop a comment below with your goal. Let's hold each other accountable. As Jung said, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Look into yours. Start with the first layer, and I promise, you'll see results faster than you ever thought possible. Let's make it happen.